Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today, as you can see in the title, we're doing another survival horror hidden gems. Now, I found a couple games that I thought were worthy of making another video, and since the other video did so well, I figured you guys could use another dose of some survival horror goodness. So anyways, guys, let's get right into it. Guilt. Now, this game actually, I believe, came out quite a few years ago, like I think back in 2019-20, but it was a Stadia exclusive, if you guys remember that system. Thank goodness the developers decided to expand the game, because I don't think a lot of people would know about it if it just stayed on the Stadia. And of course, now it has a physical release. Now, you play as a young girl named Sally, who's looking for her missing cousin, Emily. Now, Emily, I believe, has been missing for a month when the game starts. And pretty much the game starts with you putting up posters, letting everybody know that she's missing. But unfortunately, during the search, your character gets bullied by neighborhood kids, ends up getting lost. And you're trying to find your way back home. When you go to the train station that you find, you see this weird conductor. And the conductor says, hey, you got to buy this ticket to go home. You buy the ticket. And all of a sudden, you go to this jacked up looking city that's just... It's like a mirror image of, I believe, where Sally goes to school at, but it's just pretty twisted, and I found the game to be pretty eerie as I played through it. It really gave me an unnerving feeling about what was around the corner, because you're playing as a child in this game. She's only 11 years old, and she's going through a school like at nighttime in other parts of the city, and it's just like, it just looks very eerie, and the monsters in this game are just like terrifying looking. You know, I just feel bad for her. But mostly in the beginning of the game, you'll be kind of like playing stealth, like trying to hide from your enemies until you figure out how to take them out, or if you need to take them out. Some enemies you can just walk past. Some enemies are patrolling, so you have to be very careful, and some enemies are just like, they pretty much stalk you, so you have to be quiet when you can and run if you have to. Now, I wanted to mention also that I have played this game on live streams, and those videos are up, so if you want to check those videos out and see how it is, you know, definitely give those a watch. I might actually start doing more live streams. But anyways, going back into the game, I like how it gives you that sense of what's around the corner. It just feels like, I know I say this term a lot, but it just feels unnerving, just like a survival horror game should be. Oh, also, I did want to mention that the game has multiple endings, so depending on how you play the game, you'll get a different ending. There's a good ending, a bad ending, and a selfish ending, I would say. So, anyways, guys, definitely check out Guilt. Let me know what you think about it.
Hey, Sally! You still looking for your cousin?
What'd you do to her?
Sally, we know you're here.
You can't hide from us.
There's still a chance for you to make things right, Sally. You must find Emily. She is the key to ending this nightmare.
This is Tormented Souls for the PlayStation 4. I've been waiting to play this game forever, and now it's finally here. So just to describe this game a little bit, if you're familiar with survival horror games, and these are the old school survival horror games like Dino Crisis, Resident Evil, hell, even Chaos Break, but I don't think anybody knows about Chaos Break. You will know what to expect here, and it is done really, really well. So with the old school survival horror games, they really don't give you too much story in the beginning. You know, they give you very minimal, and they throw you into a crazy situation. And this game does the same thing. You end up going to this mansion hospital place, and you get knocked out, and next thing you know, you wake up in a tub. And when you wake up, you pretty much have some parts missing. I'm not going to tell you guys which, but most of you guys probably already know anyways. But Definitely this game pulls no punches. It has a very clever puzzles so far. I haven't got that far in the game yet, but the puzzles so far, pretty clever, very unique. If you guys think this game is too dark, no, that's just the way the game is in the beginning, because the electricity is not running in certain areas, so you have to use your lighter, and you have to be very careful in this game, because if there's dark areas you try to walk into, you will get killed immediately. So be very careful, stay in the light, try to stay safe, and if something's chasing you, you gotta go old school Resident Evil style. Make sure you get it a good camera angle and start blasting away.
Trabajamos audinos Arabia irse.
Seven Mansions Ghastly Smiles is a survival horror game that actually started on the Sega Saturn and was pretty much ported to the Dreamcast. You kind of tell with the way the graphics are. It was going to get a Western release, but we know what happened with the Dreamcast on the West, so that never happened. So you play the game as two college students looking for their professor on this island, and the action starts pretty much immediately. You get inside this laboratory, and you get locked in, and the monsters start stalking you. It's pretty crazy. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Carrier for the Dreamcast. Like, if you could hear it, you already did. Remember that little tagline they used to have? The game's kind of like that. If you hear the monster, it's usually very close to you. So, but a lot of the monsters in this game so far that I've seen, they're not really too threatening. You have these melee attacks you can kind of lock them up in pretty much. So they aren't too bad once you learn how to do that. But I haven't got that far yet, so I can't tell you how it gets later in the game, but I'm having a good time so far. It does give you that sense of dread that you have when you feel like you're alone and playing survival horror games, so that's a good thing. But hopefully things will stay or get better later on as I get farther through the game. But hopefully you guys like what you're seeing here. This one is available as well. Just acknowledge. So a lot of people were hitting me up saying, Reggie, you got to play this game. It is amazing. A true survival horror gem. And, I just didn't get time to play it when I was told about it. But after finally playing this game now, I was blown away. I mean, this really feels like I'm playing an old school PS1 game. This game is one of those survival horror games where you truly don't know what to expect. I've been playing survival horror games for years, and I kind of could piece stuff together. But this game, the whole time I was playing it, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I know all I knew was I'm trying to survive. Now, I can't go too much into the story, but you play as an android named Eler. I gotta go back and look at it. But anyways, and this android made a promise to a human, and you're trying to find out what happened to this base. A lot of people, everybody's pretty much dead. You're trying to find out what's going on. Now, the game has some clever puzzles, but I didn't like that the game started off with a puzzle, kind of. I was like, man, I wanted to kind of get it to flow a little bit before a puzzle happens, but usually the puzzles are pretty easy if you sit there and think for a second. It's just the timing of it for me. It's just I get impatient. I want to go, go, go. But I want to say this game did a lot of things well for I want to say old school style game for modern consoles, I would say. The game had a good flow besides some of the puzzles. Some of the puzzles in the later game get pretty clever. I'll just let you guys know right now, so be ready. What I do want to make sure I let everybody know is that the enemies in this game are pretty fast and tough to deal with, so you probably want to get used to how your character moves around and try to avoid most enemies. because ammo in the game, though it's dropped, it's not dropped a lot and everything, so you want to kind of conserve it as much as you can. Well, I shouldn't say that, you know, just know when to pick your battles pretty much. If you can avoid an enemy, do it. If not, take them out. Now, the environments in the game look good, but sometimes, like, items that you interact with, you know, tend to bleed in with the environment. Like, you think you need to pick up something, and it ends up being nothing but just part of the environment. So I wish the game would kind of, like, show items easier that you could, like, interact with instead of, like, you know, just, I don't know. I think that's an issue I ran into. That's thinking I could pick up certain items. But anyways, this game does an excellent job of bringing survival horror to modern consoles with a old school look. So definitely put this one on your radar. If you're looking for a physical copy of the game, I would say go to Amazon. That's where I got mine. And if you already played a good portion of the game, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Here's Dread Out Part 2. Now, the original game came out on Steam a few years back, and it's unfortunate that that did not get a physical release, but at least we got one of the games, and this is actually the better game. So Dread Out is pretty much a survival horror game where you're dealing with what I would say pretty much urban legends. So the game kind of throws a lot at you. If you play games like Fatal Frame, you'll kind of know what you're getting into here. You actually attack enemies with your camera phone and other various objects. Now, this is one survival horror game that gets straight to the point. You know, first of all, it starts you off at a school at night, and it looks terrifying. Now, while you're at the school, it seems like it's pretty empty, but this is the best time to kind of get used to the controls in the game. Now, you play as Linda, the protagonist from the first game, and pretty much this game starts where the last game left off. Now, at nighttime is where you have to really fight enemies, and during the daytime, you get to walk around the city, go to dorms in the village and all that stuff, do all your traveling and look around. But when it's night, that's when it's time to fight. And this game just, like, it throws all kind of weirdness at you, and that's one of the things I really like about it. The urban legend hook is really going to pull a lot of people in because, like, all the different types of monsters you'll see and all kind of the weirdness will really throw some people through a loop. Now, there's a part early in the game where you get a live stream going on your phone, and it's basically this girl blaming you for what's going on all these people's deaths. And I was like, what the heck is this? And pretty much, this girl was pretty much saying it's on site. So when I left the school, I wasn't expecting this, but she was waiting for me at the front door, and pretty much a boss fight started, so I had to take her out. I got past it the first time thanks to, like, practicing how to move in the game, and using the phone against her was pretty easy. But how she appeared in the game was kind of like a foreshadowing of what things to come, pretty much. So you're going to always have to keep your head on the swivel in this game because you never know what it's going to throw at you, and I think a lot of survival horror fans will like that. So keep this one on your radar. And also, they have a movie out for it. I did not even know this, but there's a movie on Dread Out, so definitely check that. Well, let me know if you guys have seen it, if it's any good, so you can save me some time from watching it if it's bad. But anyways, this game is good. Definitely check it out. White Day at Labyrinth Named School is a pretty awesome survival horror game. But just going a little bit into this game, I had this game on PS4 for a few years now. I wanted to get the Switch version because I like having it as a portable survival horror game, and it comes with all the DLC, which is really cool. But the premise of this game is a student wants to give a love letter to a girl he likes, and he decides to go to the school at night to put it in her locker. Now, I'm sure most of you know this, but a school is one of the scariest looking places at night. I mean, seriously, if you're junior high and to high school, those buildings, the way the lighting is at night, there's barely any. And not only that, is that you're being stalked by the janitor. The janitor catches you, man, you're going to get the business. He will beat you to death, and he does not get tired of chasing you, so try to stay out of his sights. But the game has the atmosphere down as being terrifying, I would say. So definitely a survival horror game I think a lot of people will want to try out. Just to let you guys know, it is in first person, so I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like it's one of the ones that's well done in first person. You know, a lot of the new survival horror games in first person are just kind of like jump scares and stupid stuff like that, but this one's actually really feels like an old school survival horror game.
Did I scare you? I guess you don't like ghost stories, huh? Oh, the doors are probably all locked by now. They lock all the doors after 10, except for the lecture hall lobby, that is. If we want to leave, we have to go to the lecture hall. You know the new building, lecture hall, and here are all connected, right?
All right, the Blair Witch. I got this when it first came out as a physical. I think I picked it up at GameStop. And this is when it was like hard to find or whatnot. So this is a horror game where you're searching for a lost child in the woods. Now, you have your trusty dog with you. And during the daytime, everything's pretty simple or whatnot. But when it becomes night, that's when this game becomes pretty scary. And it's pretty unnerving, I would say. All I have to tell you guys is make sure you treat the dog well so he acts well during this, because he's your main focus on how you get through this game, or pretty much how you navigate through the game. And actually in this game, you actually run into the Blair Witch, which is pretty terrifying. The dog, depending on the dog's actions, you'll know what's going on. If he becomes like standoffish, and obviously if he starts growling, danger is lurking around the corner. You go to all kind of different environments while you're in the woods. You find a bunker, which is pretty crazy, and just like the game is just tripped out. I don't want to tell you too much after that. I want you guys to kind of experience this for yourself if you want. The game is, it is buggy at some points, I would say, but it's still playable, I would say. But yeah, just something to be aware of too. It's not perfect. This game was released, I think, at the price point of around $30 when it first came out. So, not a AAA title or anything like that. But I can guarantee that this game is better than watching the Blair Witch Part 2 movie.
What the hell?
Alright everyone, so that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and also make sure you check out my other survival horror hidden gems video. You might find some titles in there that you want. I don't know when or if I'm going to do another video like this anytime soon, but I feel like there's enough good titles in both videos to keep you guys occupied for a while. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Radical Reggie, and I will see you all later.